croeso i chi gyd i'n digwyddiad Hustings Llywydd Myfyrwyr 2021-2022. Eich ymgeiswyr Llywydd Myfyrwyr ar gyfer safleoedd y gogledd orllewin yw Morgan Matthews o Chweched Blaned Dyfrdwy a Ellie o safle Blaned Dyfrdwy. Good afternoon and welcome to our 2021-2022 Student President Hustings event for our candidates at our Deeside and Deeside 6 sites. Your Northwest Student President's candidates are Morgan Matthews from Deeside 6 and Ellie from our Deeside site. Mi wna i rwan wahodd pob ymgeisydd yn ei dro i gyflwyno hunain a'i hymgyrch yn fyr, felly dim mwy na ryw funud os gwelwch yn dda. I will now invite each candidate in turn to briefly introduce themselves and their campaign. So if you could keep this to less than a minute, that would be great. So if we could go with Ellie first.
Yeah. Hi, my name's Ellie and I'm from the Deeside campus. I'm a level 3 sports student and I'm really passionate about things like women's rights and equality. I'd like to bring some of that equality into my campaign, making sure that everyone on all the campuses are treated equally, no matter like where you're from, what you're studying. And I'm excited for the opportunity to be running this year.
Gwych, diolch Ellie, thank you Ellie. And Morgan.
Hi, I'm Morgan Matthews. I'm from the Deeside 6th campus. I'm currently studying biology, chemistry, an AS level in Welsh and the Welsh Baccalaureate. I am passionate about raising awareness that it's okay not to be okay. A lot of my campaign is based around mental health because that's something I really care about with personal experience of it. I have brought a lot of charity work into my campaign as well, because I really appreciate that as a community we have to come together and work together to make things better for us, especially after things like COVID and just everything in recent years. I also am trying to create and maintain strong connections with the job shop on all campuses to make volunteering and apprenticeship opportunities more accessible and help you to find out more about it in general.
Gwych, diolch Morgan, thank you Morgan. Wel, diolch i chi'ch dwy am gyflwyno eich hynny. A ymlaen rwan i gwestiynu'r ymgeiswyr. Mae'r cwestiynau dwi am ei ofyn wedi cyflwyno gan myfyrwyr Coleg Cambria ac mi fyddaf yn ei gofyn yn y Gymraeg ac yna yn y Saesneg. Dylech ateb y cwestiynau yn eich dewis iaith chi. Os ydych yn ateb yn Gymraeg, mi fyddaf yn gofyn i chi grynhoi eich ateb yn Saesneg hefyd. So thank you both for introducing yourselves. I'll now go on to question the candidates. The questions that I'll be asking have been submitted by Coleg Cambria students, and I will ask them in Welsh and then in English. If you should answer these questions in your language of choice, if you answer in Welsh, I will ask you to summarise your answer in English. Felly, y cwestiwn cyntaf, pa rinweddau sy'n eich gwneud chi'n ymgeisydd y dylai ymgeiswyr bleidleisio drosto? So what qualities make you the candidate we should vote for? So Morgan, we'll begin with you.
I like to think of myself as approachable, and I am very, very passionate about allowing people to come and speak to me about whatever they feel like, which is another thing that I've tried to include in my campaign, which is to campaign for a student referral system. So any student can refer one of their friends to a member of staff, or I would be able to refer someone to a member of staff, someone to talk to. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I won't leave anything alone until it's done and it's perfect. So I try and make sure that everything is done and done right.
Gwych, diolch Morgan, thank you. And the same question to you, Ellie. What qualities make you the candidate we should vote for?
I think that if you look at the work that I've done in the past, especially for like young people's rights, I think that it says a lot about what I could do here. I'm really passionate about working hard to make sure that everyone has a good experience. Again, I would agree that I am quite approachable, as is Morgan, but I really love to talk. I'm very confident in talking and speaking, and I'm not afraid to speak out. I've got really positive links with some of the senior staff across the college sites, which means that I can get things done quite easily. And I think that I'm really hard working and driven to make sure things get done properly, and I won't leave things alone. I'll chase it up until it does get done. So last year as vice president, I did the period poverty campaign. So as many of you might have noticed, there's free sanitary products across the sites. I chased that up with the college time and time again until it got done for 2 of my college years. I took to make sure that did get done and it was complete. I didn't leave it alone. So I think that just shows that I'm not going to give up on anything that students want and students need.
Gwych. Diolch, Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. So we'll go on to the second question, yr ail gwestiwn. Sut y byddwch chi'n mynd ati I gyflawni pethau? How will you get things done? And we'll begin with you this time, Ellie.
I think, as I've mentioned previously, I've got really strong links with senior staff across campuses. I've also got a strong link with the Vice President of Northop, Matthew, which means, again, I'll be able to get things done very easily. Over on Deeside 6th, I'm always happy to work with whoever and make them contacts. But I think the fact that I've already got 2 really strong contacts across 2 campuses, and I can easily make more, shows that I will be able to get things done. I'll be able to speak to the right people, and I'll make sure things get done. I would also, if there's something that a lot of people want done, I would give regular updates on where I am in doing that, so people don't just think I've gone away and not done it, or I'm not doing it, especially if it's something that's going to take a few meetings or a while to get done. I want to make sure that students are aware that we are actually doing the work and that things are getting done behind the scenes.
Great. Diolch, Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. And the same question to you, Morgan. How will you get things done?
Over the past couple of months, I've established really strong connections with the resilience coaches across Deeside and Deeside 6th. I already have a scheme set in place for referring people, but at the moment it's not how exactly I want it to be. Like I said before, I want a student referral system, and there's just an issue with that at the moment with safeguarding, but I am working to get that put in place already. The Raise More to Do More, I have so many ideas set in place already over the next couple of months. It's part of raising money for Spirit Days, themed to keep spirits high, but also to raise money for Student Voice so we can do more things within the college community. I have a project in place to work with Northop Business School students to organise and run a sustainable and affordable pop-up shop, because I've been approached by different members of Student Voice saying that there's not a lot on offer for reasonable prices over in Northop, and I don't want anyone to be overlooked. And I already have strong connections with the job shop for volunteering and apprenticeship opportunities, which I will be releasing over the next few weeks. And I have very strong connections with the head of sixth form here and the deputy head of sixth. So Deeside 6 students can come up to me whenever they want, but also I want to be able to work cross campus as well. So me and Ellie have been working together over the summer over different projects and stuff. So.
Brilliant. Thank you, Morgan. Diolch, Morgan. The next question, beth hoffech chi ei newid yn neu amdan eich safleoedd? So what would you like to change at or about your campuses? So Morgan, can you begin with that one?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm working to make library resources more easily accessible. I find that whenever I need to go to the library, there's nobody really there. And also I struggle to find things online. So at the moment I'm working with the people in the library and with my fellow students to come up with a compromise over library resources, and that can eventually be spread out across all of the Northwest campuses and then eventually all of the campuses.
Gwych. Diolch, Morgan. Thank you, Morgan. And the same question to you, Ellie. What would you like to change at or about your campuses?
So when you talk about the campuses, I don't really want to just focus on Deeside, because although I go here, I think it's important that if you're going to become president or if you're looking at working together, that you look at all the campuses. Personally, for me, I think one thing that all students can definitely agree on is the food. The prices are not necessarily reasonable for a lot of people, especially, working young people who are meant to be funding themselves and their own food and maybe not necessarily get an EMA. It can be quite costly. And, especially on our campuses as a group, there's not really anywhere else that we can go. So making sure that the standards are kept high throughout the year, and that if the standards are dropped or people don't think that the food's good enough for the price, it is reviewed constantly. I think another thing, like changing about the campuses, I think we need to be more united as free campuses, considering that we are a group. We don't really see a lot of working together or students being together. And I know it's been difficult over COVID, but I think that in the past as well, looking back, that there hasn't necessarily been a lot of unity between the three campuses, especially between Deeside 6th and Deeside, because of Deeside not being able to go to Deeside 6th. It can create a sort of barrier, but having more events and stuff like that, just bringing students together, I think that could be a good idea for the future.
Gwych, diolch Ellie, thank you Ellie. Felly, y pedwerydd cwestiwn, beth yw'r mater cyntaf y byddwch yn ceisio i ddatrys ar eich safleoedd? So the fourth question is, what is the first issue you will attempt to resolve on your campuses? So if you could just discuss one issue. So Ellie?
So one of my big issues is definitely having the awareness months risen, because I think that we have a lot of these sessions with our tutors where we don't necessarily seem to do a lot, especially in the first year when you're not looking at UCAS and stuff like that we use that time to celebrate things like Black History Month, Women's Month, and so on and so forth. Because, there's so many important events that we don't discuss, we don't learn about, but then we are, as many students will agree, wasting time in these sessions, not necessarily doing anything that's going to benefit us. So if they're going to keep us in the class, we can at least use that time to look into things that interest us and, learn more and sort of celebrate each other's, celebrate each other and our differences to bring us all together.
Gwych, diolch Ellie, thank you Ellie. And the same question to you Morgan, what is the first issue you will attempt to resolve on your campuses? So just one issue please.
Yeah, the first issue I'm trying to tackle at the moment is the student referral system. Just because I don't think it's fair that it feels like friends can't look out for friends and students can't look out for students, and at the end of the day we're all meant to be a united front. So that is the first issue I'm going to try and tackle.
Gwych, diolch Morgan, thank you Morgan. On to the fifth question, pam ydych chi eisiau bod yn Llywydd y Myfyrwyr? Why do you want to be the student president? So we'll begin with you Morgan.
I want to be the student president because I want to be able to help better our college community, and I want to help everyone have the best experience they possibly can, because at the end of the day these are meant to be the best years of our lives before our lives officially start. So I want people to be able to enjoy that as much as they possibly can.
Thank you Morgan, diolch Morgan. And Ellie, the same question to you, why do you want to be the student president?
I think for me, I've been here for 2 academic years before this is my 3rd year. I've seen the student presidents not necessarily work hard enough on what they promised and not actually keeping to them promises. And I just think that if you voted for me, that I would keep to them promises. I'd make sure things get done. As last year, 2 of the things that I promised, I went through with anyway as vice president. So as president, I would keep to my promises, and you can see at my work from last year that I will work hard and that I will actually follow through on what I've promised on my campaign, and I will work with students to make sure that the campuses are running as they should and students are kept happy.
Gwych, diolch Ellie, thank you Ellie. We're on to the last question now, a question olaf. Beth fyddech chi'n ei fwynhau ynglyn â bod yn Llywydd Myfyrwyr? So what would you enjoy about being a student president? So we'll begin with you, Ellie.
For me, I just really enjoy working with the staff and the students. I really enjoy making sure that things are done properly, and I enjoy speaking to people. I'm very sociable, so that would be a really enjoyable part for me. I think I'd have a lot of fun in the role, because when I've been a student rep, when I've been vice president, I've really enjoyed it, and taking that step and becoming president, I think would be the next step forward for me, and I think that I would be confident in doing it. I think that I've got the confidence and the history to do this well, and to make sure that the students have an enjoyable experience, the staff find it easy to communicate with the students, and that I would at least have fun with it.
Da iawn. Diolch, Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. And the same question to you, Morgan. What would you enjoy about being a student president?
With working as a team, being part of my job and part of my hobbies, I really do enjoy working as a team, and I really think that all of the campuses as a whole are one big team. That's one element of it that I really love. And then already as student vice president, from about June onwards, I've had so many people approach me about different issues that they really wanted to voice, which they didn't feel like they could voice before, but now, because they find that with me being a bit of a social butterfly, I'm friends with so many different people that they want me to that they find me more approachable, because obviously they've known me for so long. And although I don't have as much experience with the role as Ellie does, I think that I'd be a really good fit for it, because I have fresh eyes for it, and I really want to be able to make a difference to everyone. And I'm open to having other ideas brought forward as well. I'm not just going to stick to my campaign. If somebody else has an idea and they really want me to go through with it, I will be very democratic about it, and I will try and put forward a survey or anything like that to try and get as many people involved as possible and have as many people voice their own thoughts as possible.
Gwych, diolch Morgan. Thank you, Morgan. Well, thank you to you both. I think students on your sites are very lucky to have you both running for student presidents. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi'ch dwy. Dwi'n meddwl bod myfyrwyr ar eich safleoedd chi yn lwcus iawn i gael chi fel ymgeiswyr Llywydd Myfyrwyr. A pob lwc i chi. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.